our bubbles. I promise it's better than it looks. Good evening. As you all may know, my name is Brianna. Tonight, my partners, Stephanie, Matt, and Badge, and I will use Chapter 3, which is called Locating Support Materials, to teach you all how to make your speeches worthwhile. While you all may be sitting there wondering, how is this information beneficial to me? Why do I need to know this stuff? What the heck does this have to do with me? Well, to answer your questions, we all give speeches daily, sometimes not even knowing it. When trying to conduct a well-informed and convincing speech, you have to know the facts. Today, we will show you where to obtain these facts, or as we like to call them, support materials. To gain effective support materials, you need to use sources such as books, magazines, journals, blogs, websites, and much more. Matt, take it away.
All right, I'm going to start off and talk to you about what does the internet have to offer you. So, first off, you got to know how to browse the web. It's pretty simple. I'm sure we all understand this concept of browsing the web. But there's also something that some of you might not know is that on the web there is a visible side and an invisible side. And the visible side is basically what most search engines look for, and the invisible side is you need specialized search engines to be able to find that. And then it is really important to check your sources, because not everything that's on the internet is true. You should evaluate the accuracy, check the citations, investigate the authors, see their credentials. It's good to know where the website came from. If it's a for-profit website or a government website, government websites are normally more accurate. It's good to know the information about the website and see how up to date all the information is. Make sure it's current. Search engines, like I was talking about earlier, the general search engines will just do a quick search and see everything that's on the visible web. Meta search engine, which would be A9, Dogpile, whatever, that basically just combines a bunch of different search engines. And the invisible web, like I was talking about earlier, it's also called the deep web. Infomine and Google Scholar will search through those, and web directories like Google Directory, the Open Directory project will also work. Commercial websites. These websites are created and maintained for a for-profit business. They're often biased towards their information. But they're important so that you can locate information about a company and gather support materials, find current or popular cultural things, and to find presentation aids. Non-profit organizations, sites for local, national, and international not-for-profit organizations, such as UNICEF and MAD and the Special Olympics. Use these to locate detailed information about particular issues and organizations. To locate emotional appeal examples is what you use this for. Blogs. These are websites or pages that are created by individual people, and these help you find public opinion, and these are often more updated more frequently than other websites. And they can also help you decide whether a topic is controversial or not. personal websites. These are created by groups or individuals and focused on topics of personal interest. You can use these websites to find material that humanizes your topic or personal information about the site's author. Here we have an example of how you can use the internet to access the library. I'm not sure if this will work. And there it did. So basically you can use this to search books that are in our library, and that can help you find research information. And Badge, I think it's your turn.
I will be talking. I'll be talking more in depth about the resources you can actually find in the library physically. Like books, for example. I'll be explaining. Like books, for example. Books can have any genre or anything as long as it's related to your topic. You can use nonfiction, fiction. You can even use poems, anthologies, compilations. You use books mostly to find facts, statistics, or how a culture like to use, or how a culture viewed a certain topic at a certain time. Like how Blair Finn would have show you a different cultural perspective than nowadays. And the next thing up would be a newspaper, such as the Southern Tribune. You can find these in the library. Newspapers have a wide variety of topics: politics, crime, health, business, arts, entertainment, sports, and they're typically up to date. You go pretty in depth on what they're covering. They come pretty well in their specific examples. Next up, we have magazines, which are similar to a newspaper in that they give you in-depth articles on a given topic, but they're much more focused on a certain topic, like women's health, for example. They won't be focusing on politics, but you use them similar to as a magazine or a newspaper, just if you want to get more options out there on specific. And then we have newsletters. These are small leaflets on they give you information on a specific group, on what, or like a church or a club, and what they're all about, what their interests are. Also, events or charities or something that they're getting ready to have. It's a good way to learn what a group specifically is important to them, or finding a group that enjoys or how they stand on a certain topic. And it's also a good way to find out current events in the local area. Next are journals. These are scholarly and academic publications that are released periodically, quarterly, monthly, yearly. They're peer-reviewed. They're going to be your most reliable source that you're going to find in a library. They have expert testimony. They detailed facts and statistics. And but they're also going to be probably the more difficult one for you to understand, because both the author and the audience are expected to be highly educated, so they're not going to be using layman's terms. They're going to be using the big scientific words. So you want to be careful on that. It's going to be your most reliable source. Finally, we have special collections or rare books. These are items and materials that are specific to a library or a group of libraries that are more locally centered. They could be historical records, they could be manuscripts, photographs, artifacts, etc. You use these to find specific examples, like if you want to find something specific about South Bend or the Mishawaka area, you could use those.
Thanks, Badge. Alright, so I'm going to talk to you guys today about what you can find on both the internet and in the library. Some of these are government materials. Government materials are sources created by local and state and federal government agencies. Examples of these are U.S. reports, Federal Register, Code of Federal Regulations, and the Census of Population and Housing, and so on. These are highly credible sources, but may not include citation information. You can use these government sources to locate statistics and facts, and locate policy information, and locate practical information. Next, we have reference works. These are compilation of information. This information can be facts, data, definitions arranged for easy access. Examples of these are dictionaries, thesauruses, encyclopedias, yearbooks, etc. These sources are a great way to start your research. However, the information they give is brief, so you're going to need to go more in depth. You can use these sources to locate brief definitions or segments of information, locate statistics and facts, and get a broad base of information that you need. And next, I am going to talk to you about how to gather support materials for an interview. One, you're going to need to set up a time and location for an interview. And two, you're going to need to write your questions. Now, when you're writing your questions, you're going to want to use open-ended questions, because if you use yes or no answers, you're not going to get as in-depth of an answer as you need. So you want to ask questions kind of like, how do you feel about global warming and how it affects the world? Not a yes or no question is, do you think global warming is affecting the world today? Next, you're going to want to decide how to record the interview. Are you going to want to write down the answers, or are you going to want to record it using a auditory device like how we're recording the speech today, or just note-taking, specifically pen and paper? And then you're going to conduct the interview. When meeting with the individual you will be interviewing, it's important that you have good appearance. You don't want to be dressed in a sweatshirt and just pants that are sweatpants and look completely comfortable. You want to look presentable and nice. You want to use working equipment, so you want to make sure if you're recording something that works. You want to arrive on time, and you want to thank the interviewer for his time, his or her time. Explain your topic and speech goal. Give the interviewer time to respond to each question. Allow time to think of follow-up questions. So if you ask a question and then an answer that you got leads to another question that you want to ask, give time for that. And you want to be an active listener, so you don't want to just jot down what they're saying word for word. You want to make sure you're understanding what they're saying. Ask questions if you have any questions about what they're saying. You want to, like the clarification, take good notes and send a thank you note afterwards, thanking them for their time. Next, you can use media-assisted interviews if necessary. So those are interviews through telephone, email, instant messaging, Skype. I guess you could use Skype or Uvu, they're both the same. So kind of face-to-face, but through the internet. And now here's Brianna with surveys.
Another effective way to gather support materials that has not yet been discussed today is the use of a survey. Conducting a survey can be really great for a speech. However, you have to make sure that you handle your survey properly. First things first, you have to create a survey. Surveys are far different than interviews. You want to ask more closed-ended questions that gives an answer either yes or no. Also, you want to focus on the specific information that you want to collect when writing your questions. After you prepared your survey, you should ask yourself questions like, am I asking only one thing in each question? Am I using language that is clear and appropriate to my respondents? Did I use mostly closed-ended questions? Did I keep my questionnaire short? Next, you must conduct the survey. It's merely impossible to conduct a survey with the total population. So most likely, you're going to use a portion of a population. First, you want to select individuals who represent subgroups. These subgroups can represent things like gender, age, race, social status, etc. Next, you want to make sure the sample of your survey is large enough for you to make accurate accusations. You also want to factor in location and how a location can influence your results. The last thing that we will talk about today is how to take good research notes. You always want to prepare your research. Chapter 4 is a great guide on what support materials to research and how you can use those. First things first, you want to create a list of the support materials that you want to find. A great checklist to use is the information accurate? Is the information current and timely? Is the information complete? Will my audience view the information and the source is trustworthy? Is the information suitable for my audience? Lastly, you want to use a good note-taking system. Write out your notes on note cards or on paper. You can also photocopy or print pages that contain support materials. Use a combination of note-taking and copying and printing. Have you guys ever been in the library when it's about to close and you still have a lot of research to get done? That's where copying and pasting comes in. But you want to make sure that you have your source so that you don't use information without citing it. We all want to thank you for your time, and we hope that you use this information to the best of your ability.